Gunnies, welcome back to Hans and Groot. This is part 5 and hopefully the final part of our review of the Ruger SFAR and 6.5 Creedmoor. We'll be shooting a bit on setting 2 to get groups and accuracy with the brake on. I'll shoot for our patented Peanut recoil test, and we think we fixed our problem with setting 1 in the suppressor.
Alright, like Peanut said, welcome back. We ran out of light the other day, so we just made that as a separate part so we could get some content out, and we're going to pick up from there. We'll have Peanut shoot with and without the brake, and then we'll compare it to 2 other rifles here. I woke up this morning and something hit me. I was wondering why setting 1 wasn't working the action properly, and I'm pretty sure the bolt just wasn't coming back far enough because every now and then it just wouldn't pick up a round, and I'd squeeze the trigger and click. So I thought, well, why didn't Ruger make a setting 1.5 if you need a little extra gas? And then it hit me. The engineers at Ruger probably had a 30 caliber dedicated can on the rifle, and that was probably the perfect amount of gas, but I have the Silencerco 46M. This is kind of my one can does it all. I don't have an endless budget for cans. So because of this being a 46 caliber can with just a 30 caliber end cap, I'm probably not getting enough back pressure for setting 1 to operate properly, to push the bolt back far enough to get the next and strip the next round to come into the chamber. Well, I think we got a solution. I just put the extra modular piece on the can, so we should get a little extra back pressure and we should cycle well. We're going to find out live, so we'll do that live. Again, thanks for coming back and watching. We have a lot of people that have been watching all of the series, and we really appreciate it. Please, it makes it very difficult to do this because I'm not even monetized at all yet. We hope to get there so we can afford to do it. I'm kind of eating up my stockpile of 6.5 ammo that I bought pre-pandemic, and the price has gone up quite a bit, so this ain't cheap to do. And Groot says like and subscribe. In the comments, most people wanted to see what the gun performance with setting 2. Apparently there were some problems with the 308 models. Conveniently stored in the handle is your gas block adjustment little Allen key here. So we're going to put it on setting 2. Again, we're filing one of my favorites, the Winchester Deer Season XPs, because for me they've been generally pretty accurate. We'll put it on setting 2. My chronograph set up, we got 3 rounds loaded. If you ever fired an AR-10, you'll notice a distinct difference in the amount of force needed to rack this thing. Actually got the bolt open. Alright, let's see how she does. Right there on the chrono we got 27:41. Shot a little high left there. $27.67. And 27.42, so we're getting about 27.40, 27.50. Advertised in the box is 2,900 feet per second for those rounds, so you lose a little bit with the 20-inch barrel. So far, setting 2, even with the light 125 grainers, is pretty good, and so I think it'll even cycle a little harder with the 140s. And off camera yesterday, we shot a whole pile of different rounds with setting 2, and we've been good. I don't know if it would be wise for Ruger to make one with a shorter barrel, just because you do lose something with the 6.5 round. And as we'll show later, my first shot out of the cold barrel always seems to be a little high left, and the next 2 are touching. So we'll try a different brand of ammo and see how she groups there. We have the 140 grain Federals down there. One thing I noticed from shooting recently is the recoil with the brake and the suppressor were almost exactly the same. We haven't fired it with no brake yet, which we'll leave that up to Peanut today. Shot a little high left there as well. That's okay, we're shooting for groups, not for accuracy. We can fix that later. And again, I don't know if you could see, but we're getting just under 2,500 feet per second. And these guys are advertising 27.25. So you could generally knock off about 200-300 feet per second, because I'm sure they always want to put high numbers on the box. And 20-inch barrel isn't going to give you that, but it gives you maneuverability, and I don't think you want an AR with a big long barrel like that. Takes away the fun of the gun. Hair more recoil with the 140 grainers, but overall, not a whole lot of recoil in this gun. And last, these are the last 3 rounds of my Hornet ELDX, so please like and subscribe. We want to buy more ammo and not do it out of pocket. 2,700 feet per second is advertised with the 143 grain ELDX. These are supposed to be king of the 6.5 rounds out on the market. Let's see how accurate they are. We'll walk down and show the target a bit. But the groupings have been pretty good. For some reason, my first shot seems to always be a little high left or so. There we go. Very high left. And a pretty good group there. It's time to do the peanut test. We got our brake on. Yesterday I think we had the can on. We're going to see how the 6.5 SFAR moves the peanut. Sometimes she outshoots me. I don't know how, but she seems to. That concussion on that brake standing here is amazing. That's why we put Groot in the car. I don't like him around the brake. Let's stand all the way to the side here, even though I'm going to take the full force of that brake. Seems to be absorbing the recoil there pretty good for a little peanut.
Oh yeah.
We have removed our brake and we've just stolen my my thread protector from my Ruger Predator in 6.5 over there and slapped her on here. Just so you see, in case you're curious and interested in this rifle, here we have a two-part to the brake. So this little indexing nut slides on first. You screw that on all the way to the bottom. Screw on this big boomer brake. And then when this is all the way down and you have it oriented horizontally, I guess you could orient it up and down vertically, then you'd be blasting stuff all over the ground. But you want to orient it this way, horizontally, and then once it's there, then you just tighten this onto it. That locks it in place. That's how you get the proper orientation. Real quick, while Peanut's lining up to take a couple shots here so we can see how the recoil affects her with no device, just a thread protector. Like I said before, we have a Sig Sauer 1-10 Tango MSR with the BDC 10 reticle, and I was very confused about the reticle. The packaging didn't say much about it. The Gun Guy channel, that guy had a real good video explaining the BDC 10 reticle on these Sig Sauers. So check out the Gun Guy. He has a great video on that. Here we go. Peanut, full recoil.
It's not bad at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you notice more recoil or less, or the same?
I'd say a little bit more, but not by much.
Okay, so the brake helps a little. I'm sure the can helps a little, but overall, 6.5 is a light kicking round. It's a great beginner's round. It's a great round for advanced shooters. That's why I love it. Yep, and there we go. Yep, so again, they're on setting 2 without the brake on. That might have actually affected the back pressure just a hair. And so maybe we want setting 3 if you have no device on there. Remember, the gun's designed to shoot off that brake, so I think setting 2 might actually make a difference. A very small difference, but that might be enough. We've had no problems on setting 3, and up to now, that was the first time setting 2 didn't properly cycle. So you might need setting 3 with no brake. Let's see how Peanut moves. That one seemed to cycle well. All right. All right, so we're back on setting 1, and we put the extra length of our modular can on here. We're going to see if that makes the little extra back pressure we need to get this to cycle reliably. As promised, we got our Ruger American Predator in 6.5 Creedmoor. This is a 22-inch barrel. We'll see what the difference is in velocity. I remember we were getting about 2750 feet per second with the same Winchester 125 grain rounds. Let's see if we pick up any velocity with an extra 2 inches of pipe on there. We got 2782, so I don't think it's all that significant, to be honest. People said sometimes they have feeding issues with this rifle. I have no feeding issues with ballistic tips. The only thing are these little open tip, pointy, sharp little range ammo from Winchester. The only thing that ever gave me a hard time feeding. They won't feed, but everything else, like butter. Even I have a 10 round mag for it sitting over there. No problems with that either. All right, we're clear. 2718. Not much difference in 2 inches there, so be happy that you got a nice short 20-inch barrel on your SFAR. All right, we got the Peanut behind the Predator in 6.5 Creedmoor, and we'll see how she moves, but I didn't notice a whole heck of a lot of recoil difference. Peanut's head's a little smaller than mine, so she doesn't get a good cheek rest here. All right, that's Peanut, 3 cracks behind the bolt gun. What do you think?
Nothing terrible.
No.
Yeah.
Here's what we got. These are our 125 grain Winchester XPs, which I'm pretty happy with at an AR. That's well, so that's an inch from here to here, so about an inch actually, because we're just a little off center of the bullseye on that one. And then this is our Federal 140s here, and then got 2 touching there. I'm not sure if I maybe shanked that one. Our Hornadies actually shot a little bit on the lower end down here. That's a pretty nice group. Those have always been accurate for me. And then this was shooting with the can. I don't know why. It changed our point of impact. And here we got Peanut. She put 2 high, 1 low, and 2 good shots here. Not too bad for a Peanut. I'm gonna quick re-zero my Ruger MPR AR-15 and 5.56, and because we had to switch the scopes around, I'm trying to do it in one shot here. Maybe we could show it, and then we're gonna put Peanut behind this too to compare recoil versus AR-10. All right, we're firing 62 grain Norma 5.56. I think it's the steel core stuff. In fact, I'm sure it is. We'll take a shot, and then we'll move our crosshairs to our bullet hole and hopefully be zeroed. Now I put my dot back on dead bullseye. With the gun bagged, gun can't move. I'm going to move my dot back to my bullet hole. Now I should be zeroed. If I come back to bullseye and then I squeeze off around, I should hit bullseye. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, hit that little square in the center, so that's a dead on bullseye. Might be off by a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch to the right. We'll take another one, make sure to confirm. There we go.
No recoil at all.
Yeah.
None.
A quick little side review here. So we have a Sig Sauer 1 to 10 power Tango MSR with the BDC-10 reticle. Great scope. The magnification's superb. I like the reticle. It's a little complicated reticle. The Vortex is a little more simple. The clarity isn't actually quite as good as the Vortex 1 to 8 Strike Eagle. So this is a little better clarity on the Vortex. I actually might prefer it a little bit, even though I get a little less magnification, but it's 6 of one, 1/2 a dozen of the other. We got bolt hold open with the light 125 grainers. We cycled every time. I'll let you guys know in the comments below down the road as we shoot more, but I think that was the magic. That little extra can, little extra back pressure, and that made up the difference for our oversized can with a gun that's probably designed to shoot on an appropriate sized can for the caliber. So even with the big can, you still get that supersonic crack, so it's not really hearing safe. I'm gonna take one shot with no ears and just see how she sounds. Not hearing safe, but that ain't bad at all. We'll shoot with Groot. Groot, come around, between. Stay between. Between. Sit. Not bad at all. I think you could take a few rounds and it wouldn't be too bad, but you should keep the hearing protection on with these supersonic rounds. We'll take a couple more shots here. Okay, real quick. So this was our last group with the bolt action Creedmoor. And you can see 2 holes touching, and I always seem to shank one of them. I think it's with a cold barrel. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please come back. Next, I think we're going to do a 10mm series. It's going to be incredibly awesome. Everything from revolver up to rifle, and everything in different sizes barrels in between. We even have a special thing in there. If you saw in our last video, I was wearing the Elder Wand. That was my G40 Glock with a 7-inch barrel. I do also have a 9x25 Dillon barrel for that, so when we do the series and get to that part, we'll show and compare 10mm to 9x25 Dillon, which is a really cool round. And remember to check out the gun guy. He had a great video on that Sig Sauer, the 1 to 8 power scope, and Public Defender 77. Awesome guy who did a really good series on the SFAR in 16 and 20 inch. Really good stuff, so you can compare to what we did. And like and subscribe.